Greetings, everybody. Welcome from my backyard for this Heroes Peak quick peek, where James, Mike, and I are going to review episode 4 and probably talk about a little bit more than that of Loki, the 2021 Disney Plus series starring Tom Hiddleston as Loki, the God of Mischief, and everybody else as Loki, the God of Mischief.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
You've heard of this. You've seen this, right? You know what that is.
It is unavoidable. It is your destiny.
Is this not why you are here?
Do or do not. There is no try.
Knock that shit off.
So, episode 4 was a huge revelation to the Marvel Universe as a whole, in the MCU specifically. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to just have a little chat. It's going to be all spoilers. So if you haven't seen it, definitely go watch it. It's only like 40 minutes. Plus, there's a mid-credit scene, which is actually is very important.
And then after you watch it, come back and watch this podcast.
That's right. Come back and watch this podcast. Listen to us. Chat with us on social media after the fact. All right, let's go. Mike, do you want to give us a quick breakdown of what happened in the episode?
Shit, do I remember? I don't even remember. Okay, no. We left off. They were on the planet that was about to be destroyed. They thought they were going to die.
Yeah.
What? Sorry, what was the name of
Lamentus One.
Lamentus One, right? So they're sitting there, and they're both pretty much sulking. You know, oh man, this is it. Usually we can get out of these kinds of situations, but I don't know. This might be the end. And then
this is the end, my only friend. The end.
They had a weird moment between each other. Like Loki was like getting hearts in his eyes or something. Like, is she the one? But wait, she's me.
Me, self-love.
The ultimate narcissist, right?
Yeah.
So is this? Wait. Is this a metaphor? Because they actually go right into this. They don't bounce around it. Owen Wilson's character Mobius just tells him they saw this happening. So do we think this is supposed to be a metaphor for just loving yourself and accepting yourself of who you are? Or is this literally like some grand, actually it's a grand cosmic fuck up?
I think it's the latter for me, because if you watch the very next scene when the Time Barrens agency is trying to find and locate them and they can't seem to figure it out, they watch the sacred timeline, all of a sudden there's this branch, like a heart-on.
A fucking giant
This branch is going up and up and up. It's never been done before, which leads me to believe this love doughy eye sensation between the two of them, two variants of each other, is like a cosmic fuck up. And it's so much of a fuck up that it's veering,
Yeah, because technically by all accounts from the previous episodes, they should both just die and it should cause no issues to the timeline.
Correct.
On this planet. But it was such a huge event that they were just falling for each other that it literally made the TVA come in and rescue them.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mike, back to you.
So it's kind of reminding me of Back to the Future, where it was like Doc Brown was warning about running into yourself in the, you know what I mean, in the past. It could cause a paradox that could destroy the universe.
I was about to say when Marty's mom was trying to hit on him.
Right, yeah, something like that. So back on the Lamentus One, they think they're about to die, and then they get found by the TVA. So portals open up, and they run through just to get arrested and get dragged to their holding cells. Loki gets thrown into that loop.
Time cell.
The time cell,
yeah.
The loop with, and we see
Lady
Sif is back. We haven't seen her since the Dark World.
Fresh
Jamie
from,
Alexander.
What's that show you guys are watching?
I've been watching that terrible show.
The Blind List.
Blind no.
Blind Spot.
Blind Spot.
Yeah.
Blind Spot.
Oh God.
All those shows kind of meld together after a while.
I'm sorry, Jamie Alexander. I love you as Sif, but that show and whatever the guy who plays opposite you is terrible. And don't do that again. I'm glad the show's over. I watched the entire thing.
Should have had a Blind Spot Blacklist crossover with Ultron and Sif.
Oh my God.
All right, keep going. I'm getting us off topic today.
All right, so he's stuck in the loop. So after that, what do we got? He
finally succumbs to him feeling like he's lonely, and then that's when Owen Wilson's character.
But the main thing is he tells Owen Wilson, "Look, they're tricking you.
Yeah.
This isn't you. You are not made by the TVA.
Yeah, there's this long back and forth between Mobius and Loki where they're basically railing on each other.
Yeah.
You might call it a friendly banter because they like each other more than they're willing to admit. So they're really hard on one another, and they refuse to believe the other person is really for or helping them. But it really sticks in Mobius's brain that something's wrong.
Yeah. So he starts to question, but he's not the only one. We've got
C20. Remember
C20?
C20?
B15.
Oh, before we get to B15, C20,
Oh.
we kind of skipped a little bit. B15 and Mobius asking about C20 from the last episode.
Yes.
Now, for those who don't know, C20 is the young girl who Sylvie enchanted to pretend like she was at a bar
In the beginning of last week's episode.
On vacation.
She's from that great show with the weird bunny comic book thing. Utopia.
Utopia,
right.
Eternity. Wow. But the point I brought her up is because you start having conversations with Raina. I think her name is Raina. And she was like, oh, she died. Her brain was, because Mobius is asking, hey, I want to do the interview. Hey, what happened to C20? Oh, no. Her brain is fried. She died.
But she blamed Sylvie for it, basically.
Right, yeah.
So all of this is kind of working in Mobius's head as well while he's interviewing Loki. Like, something is just not right about this thing. I don't trust Loki, but there's more to this stuff, right? He finally says enough is enough. Take him away. And that's when Loki yells at him, you're a time variant, right? And that sticks with them finally. It seems to like hit him finally, like he's a time variant. Because up until this moment, Loki didn't tell him that. He just says the whole thing is fake. But now he's telling him, you and everyone else here were not made. You guys are all time variants yourselves. That's the last thing he hears from Loki before they take him away. And then he goes to, go ahead, Mike. You can take it from here. Let's see.
Yeah, so at this point, B15 is questioning, so she decides to release Sylvie. And then we've got Mobius deciding to free Loki.
Well, first she takes B15 and she wants her to answer the question.
Yeah, so they go back to Rock's cart world.
Great scene, by the way, with the rain and the
yeah. So her name is Wunmi Mosaku.
She's from Lovecraft, isn't she?
Oh, right.
Yeah. She healed the system.
Great bit of acting in that scene.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So after she decides that what Sylvie's saying is true, Sylvie and Loki, who's freed by Mobius, they decide to go after our timekeepers. And that was a great scene. I thought that was a great scene. Fantastic with the revelation that happened there.
Can we first mention that poor Mobius gets unceremoniously and very quickly destroyed?
Yes. Oh, we think so.
Trimmed.
Right. Pruned.
Pruned. And so that was a good scene. I thought Owen Wilson's like, maybe I had a jet ski. That was actually the most heartfelt I've ever heard someone say the term jet ski.
Right. So he gets pruned, but doesn't necessarily mean, as we learned in this episode, that he's dead.
But at the moment, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
But this is a question I have then. Did Loki, if we skip to the end quick, that Loki actually get saved by himself, or does being groomed not necessarily mean you die?
Yeah, I've heard different versions of this on the internets. Popular opinion is that the way it's done, like in the beginning of the first episode, when you see that first time variant as Loki's getting brought in, he gets zapped just like that. He just disintegrates. You're like, wow, these people must be like vicious animals and sociopaths. They don't care about the soul.
Yeah.
But then you start thinking maybe they're not really that evil. They're just doing their job, and they know these people don't cease to exist and just go somewhere that's not as pleasant, but they don't cause chaos to the sacred timeline. So I'm thinking, and I'm crossing my fingers here. I've had bad luck all week. I'm crossing my fingers that he's going to live in another version of the other variants that they must have taken before him. Because, and then we're going to fast forward a little bit to when Mobius had drinks with Rayner before he got disintegrated, there was some other coffee mug stains from the glasses that they were drinking. So there was other times that he had his conversation with her that he's not aware of.
Oh wow.
I think on that one.
Yeah, was it you, James, who questioned whether all the people who did his job were all variants of Mobius?
Yes.
So instead, you're thinking it's just Mobius over and over again.
Yes. Because he's different from everyone else we met in the Time Variance Agency. He's like a Sherlock Holmes. Like everyone else is just like militia, like regular detective cops. Right? Like you have like the sergeant detective cop, and then you have the beat cops, right? And I apologize to the Law and Order that I'm destroying rank and insignia. But he stood alone throughout the entire TVA agency, other than what's her name, Raina.
Yeah.
So to me, that means something about him is special. That he must have ultimate, so many different versions of him that's been in existence for the TVA, where he's key, and that's why she wanted to protect them. She said, "I want to protect you," right?
Gosh, it's raining, so I'm just going to be moving while we're talking.
Okay. Well,
Yeah. So,
lightning.
but let's So let's move on. So we get to the point now where they actually make it up to the timekeepers, and a big fight
with Sylvie. Yeah.
Yeah. Sylvie and Loki make it there, and big fight ensues.
Before the big fight ensues, what's your first impression of seeing the timekeepers there? Because I thought they're going to end that episode. I wasn't watching my clock. I thought as they disembark the elevator and you see the next scene, I thought they're going to fade to black and leave you hanging, but they didn't.
No.
They actually went through the procession of walking in there, and then you see the three figures in the background. My first impression was like, this is not the real timekeepers. There's no way. I'm looking at the graphics, the animation. I'm looking at the budgeting. I'm like, no way.
Yeah, they looked a little cheap.
Yeah.
And
the thing is, like, they're like supposed to be omnipotent beings. Like, why would they be sitting there in corporeal form like that, right?
Yeah, and a perfect triangle, just to show.
In like a little room in like upstairs or downstairs, wherever it happens to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a bit. The setup was weird. The room was weird. It was also
and then the audio. I don't know if it was my TV, but it was hard hearing what they were saying. I had to put subtitles on. But to me, that just led me to believe there's some Wizard of Oz happening here.
Exactly. Yeah. But that's what we come to find out after the fight, and Sylvie cuts off one of their heads, and the head rolls off, and she looks at it and sees that it's an android. So.
Yeah. What did you guys think of the fight? It was okay.
Yeah, nothing special. I mean,
nothing special.
I never look at Loki as a fighter. So it's like, when he fights, it's whatever, right? I don't expect him to get killed, but I don't expect Shang-Chi moves from him.
I did like B-15 coming in to rescue them, though, because that's what started the fight. Because I guess at this point, she believes for that she's a variant and that this is all, somebody else is orchestrating this. So she starts the whole melee. And like you were saying, Chris and Mike, the fight wasn't spectacular. It kind of reminded me a little bit of your favorite movie, Last Jedi. And the
a lot of people were making the comparison. It's not the only fight where two people fight back to back. But yeah. But
tossing weapons back to each other.
Yeah. It was kind of, that was the thing. It was like, if you're
while someone's sitting on the throne watching. Oh yeah, come on.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It was fine. I don't want to spend it.
It's basically they had to move the show along, right? So it's not like they were going to get killed.
Yeah, I just people were making a big deal about it. I'm like, doesn't make a big deal out of this.
No, I thought it was funny.
But yeah, but it did get more interesting. Each step in this episode just like ratcheted my interest of the whole show and the theories it was creating and answering and questioning up and up and up and up. Yeah,
but one thing I learned from WandaVision is everything is a grain of salt because we're expecting Mephisto and all this stuff and none of that panned out. So I'm not gonna dive too deep into
one thing we learned from WandaVision and also Falcon Winter Soldier with Agent Carter being whatever her role was supposed to be at the end of the movie, but people were guessing from the beginning, the playmaker, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was a rather not a huge reveal because it was kind of easily. I was like, are they gonna switch it up and make me? And they didn't switch it up. They just
Yeah, the reason
did
why I'm
what you
tying those
thought.
two with this show is because Raina, and I don't know if that's really her name, I'm killing it. But to me, something always was off about her. And when now we get to the point in the show when she prunes Loki, as Loki's beginning to kind of confess whatever feelings he has for Sylvie after he decapitated one of the droids that's playing the timekeeper. He gets pruned, and then you see her standing there, and I'm waiting. Oh, this is the big reveal. It was always her. It was never
Right.
Mephisto
Yeah, exactly.
or Kang, King the Conqueror.
Right.
It was always her.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sylvie disarms her quite easily, which I was shocked. And then you think she's about to prune her, and she's like, no. She's like, do it. Like, do it. I'm like, wait a minute. Why would you say that if you're the one really
was
running
weird.
the show?
Mm-hmm.
She's like, no, not until you answer all my questions. So
Yeah.
now
Well, we
so I
saw
was
her-
confused.
We saw a flashback. One thing we missed here is we saw a flashback with Ravonna capturing the Sylvie as
Right.
a child.
Yeah.
She was the one who brought her
She's
in.
one of
and there
the
was,
beat cops. Yeah.
right, and there was an interesting moment in the elevator where Sylvie asked her, "What was the event that caused you to come and get me? It had to be a big thing." And Ravona's like, yeah, "I don't know. It
I
doesn't matter."
remember. With a
I don't
weird smirk on her
remember.
face. I remember that. She had a weird smirk.
Yeah,
And then
Like,
you could see in
it
Sylvie's
really-
eyes, she was like, "You mother."
yeah, it really fucked with her.
Yeah.
It really did screw with her because your life obviously wasn't as important to them. Why, it didn't really matter to the universe, obviously. So
By the way, I know we didn't touch on this, but the flashback of her in Asgard as young Queen Loki, whatever it's supposed to be, playing with a little toy and having a little Fenrir, the dog from Ragnarok. I thought that was very well done.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing Asgard again from that point of view and seeing her in there in the palace,
Yeah.
that was well played.
right. So what's the secret? What happened? Mike, what's the final finale of the
We're jumping to our post-credit scene or mid-credit scene.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
there.
Yeah, that's good.
So after Loki gets pruned, we think he's dead, but turns out, he's alive. He wakes up in a similar type of scene at the end of the first Avengers after they knock him out and all the Avengers standing around him. But this time it's different Lokis. We got old Loki. We got
Well, we have the classic Loki. Don't
classic
put some,
Loki. Yeah.
put some respect on
Sorry,
that
yeah.
Loki.
Yeah.
Well, he's old now. So.
Classic cartoon, classic 1960s Loki.
Right, 60s Loki. Oh, we're losing you, Chris. You're
He's turning into one of the timekeepers. It's been revealed.
Oh, we lost him. All right, so so we see multiple Lokis, and then
what's the name?
including an alligator Loki, which was weird.
Shout out to Black Loki holding what looks to be a version of Mjolnir as a variant.
Am I back?
Yes,
You're back.
All right, great.
but we can see it's a version of New York because we can see Avengers Tower in the background, and the whole city smashed, destroyed. So
someone did a deep dive, and I had to pay attention. That version of the Avengers Tower isn't the one from the first Avengers movie because it didn't have the helipad.
landing pad,
The landing pad.
right.
It has to be after that.
What do we think so far of the Loki series as a whole? I thought personally it was like the first episode was interesting, but it's for me, like I said before, it's ratcheting up higher, more interesting, answering larger questions, answers for me, all the questions I had about why hasn't Steve's time hopping caused a whole bunch of variants? Well, now we know.
Right.
So I think that answers a lot of questions. I know it creates some, but interesting more in the larger MCU universe than maybe the other two series, though I think the other two series are I like those better as a show, even though I like this show.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not gonna. So we have 2 episodes left, right?
Yeah, 2 more left.
So I'm gonna reserve judgment on which ones I like better till after I see them. But so far, I still like WandaVision a little better. But Loki's next, and then I think Falcon and Winter Soldier. So
I think for me, if I take a snapshot of where we are, episode 4, one I had 8 episodes, a little unfair. Falcon
Yeah.
had 6.
Mhm.
I think
Yeah, I
these
agree.
first 4 episodes to me are better than the first 4 because the whole Quicksilver reveal I think was in episode 4 of 1. That's when the show really pivoted.
Yeah.
Falcon, I think episode 3 and episode 4 ranked it up when the Dora Milaje showed up.
Right.
Mhm.
But the first 2 episodes to me were very dry. So I think this show, with the exception of maybe episode 3 last week's, was the only one I felt like mediocre, has been better pound for pound as a series so far. So I got 2 more
Right.
so far.
I guess we'll have to. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead, Mike.
No, I was just gonna say I pretty much agree on that.
So I guess we'll have to see. We got 2 more episodes. We'll do a show
By the
at
way,
the end of it.
Disney is not, they're not fooling me. Alligator Loki, that I checked, does not exist in any version of the comic books, video games. It's a new creation that they're going to use for plush toys. It's going to be all over. Your kids are going to want them next to Baby Groot.
I don't know. It's not
Grogu.
that cute. They didn't do like
My
tadpole
niece
Loki.
says she would give her life for it. She was just texting me, are you Uncle James, are you
Really?
coming for 4th of July? And then Alligator Loki.
See, I think Frog Thor is a much cuter character than Alligator Loki, but that's just me. Well, we'll have to see.
I'm wise to you, Disney.
Yeah. So everybody,
Turn into a medium peak. Let's wrap it
Yeah,
up.
hey,
medium peak. Says so much for
so
quick.
let us know what you thought of episode 4 in the comment section.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks. Thanks for
Don't forget
joining.
to like and subscribe. And
Yeah, leave some comments and questions, and we'll be glad to answer them in our next spot too.
yeah,
Or tell us what we got wrong. That's always good.
exactly.
Yeah, I know it's not Rainier. I keep saying it. I know it's another. Her name is pronounced something.
Ravana or something.
Ravana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
All right, guys. We'll see you later.
Thanks for watching.